Earlier in this video, I stated that I would move away from Unreal Engine to a more open source engine alternative, or FOSS if you prefer, and that search led to Godot. I have tried this engine since 2018 and had great hopes for it even back then. Fast forward into this decade and those hopes were dashed. I took a good look into their community and realized just how ethically and morally low they actually sunk. The rules in their Discord walled garden that you are forced to agree to before accessing the rest of the server, for instance, and the fact that some assistance with Godot requires you to join this server to obtain it, whenever neither the YouTube videos nor the forums can suffice for your particular needs. Thankfully, I am a believer of the theory, hate the creator, not the creation, but only if the technology does not require endorsement to the creator. That is why I can still use the Unreal engines for non-commercial games only if I have to, and why Godot engine is still useful to me, despite my loss of respect for the Godot Foundation. However, last year came the worst and most critical blow to my trust and respect for Godot, so much that I even began to question using the engine itself, and after that ordeal, newer options, folk builds, have in fact eliminated any need to bother with the vanilla build. Two of these results were Redot and Blazium. I decided to switch from Godot to Redot. Since this has already been covered to death at this point, meaning I missed the mark and came late to the party, I would just speak my thoughts on it instead. You can just watch the videos in the video description for full details on the ordeal. Some users suggested flocking back to proprietary engines because of this ordeal, such as Unity or Unreal of all engines. Given my rants from previous videos regarding Epic Games, and many videos against Unity tech on their since aborted runtime fee scandal, I am sure I don't need to remind you on why this is a terrible and stupid idea. Even if you use an engine of which its company has not forsaken nor disrespected the licensees yet, such as Unigine, you will still risk being at the mercy of these proprietary engine developers and their variable license terms. It is more difficult to escape a company that you are already paying royalties to, or much of your money via their subscription service once they decide to dare an unthinkable scam or go on a politically charged censor spree far enough to endanger your ability to access/use the engine or seek assistance regarding use of the engine. Investors can barely be choosers. After wasting so much money for years, switching engines can prove costly. This is why I am an avid supporter of FOSS and appreciate its value. Even if the company behind it ever decides to go rogue and betray its loyal supporters and contributors, use of the engine still shan't affect nor impact your game dev needs. Even political and personal enemies of the organization can benefit from their tech or even use it against them creatively and commercially. That said, I will not fault anyone who uses Godot engine even after every horrible thing they have done last year. However, I will question and berate anyone foolish enough to still willingly support the Godot Foundation. This is where it becomes an entirely different matter. I also found it baffling that even some of the Redot supporters were still reluctant to defund the Godot Foundation after banning them from their repository and community social media account or services. Whenever a company or organization betrays and disrespects you, the patron, in such manner, it is time to give them the doer fingers and starve them of their funding, and if you are unwilling to do that, then you are a coward and part of the problem, and frankly, you deserve to suffer any future negative karmic outcomes. So let us assume you do defund Godot Foundation, or never funded them to begin with, and instead focus your efforts towards Redot, Blazium, or whatever alternative fork of Godot, or another engine entirely. Fair enough, but would you really want to invest so much money on the foundation that may later just cutthroat you and decide to actively try to frustrate or restrict your ability to use the engine or seek special assistance on using their tech over some ridiculous excuse such as different political or social views, or refusal to involve yourself with politics, or perhaps they just one day suddenly decide to follow the Rexitiello path and try to scam you? This is where the true power of FOSS becomes extremely useful. Instead of following the path of the engine or its forks, you can just simply go your own way. Fork the engine or other fork of choice, modify it into your own proprietary or in-house engine, and build upon it for your own needs. You do not need to follow the pack and constantly update it with new tech, especially if they do not suit your interest. The FOSS engines are generalized, meaning they are designed for a broader audience, at worst, towards the least common denominator. Not every feature matters for everyone, and thus this approach tends to lead to technical bloat. The goal of Focusing Force for your proprietary or personal needs is to eradicate and avoid the bloat and tailor the tech to a more focused variant that you can manage easily in the long run. I have done just that with a clone of Redot engine. I aptly named this the Neanderthal engine, named after my business entity Neanderthal Empire. As it stands right now, nothing special exists from Redot or Godot, but later on, that will change. Post-edit, I spoke too late. When developing this video, I was unaware that Godot 4.4 had already released. The penalties of releasing news late. Redot 4.4 will soon follow. The moral lesson of the day is to be careful who you trust.